The US stock market is absolutely crashing again here, and this happened after Donald Trump signed another executive order putting 104% tariffs on China. And this is of course doing some very bad things for the Bitcoin market, but also for the wider stock market. And on today's update video, I'm going to be discussing all the news, what is currently happening, the 10-year yield that is absolutely exploding, which is basically signaling us right now a recession is very much near. I'm going to be breaking it all down on today's update video, discuss the breakdown of the Chinese yuan, the stock market, and of course what kind of effects it has on the Bitcoin price action. So analysis and much more on today's update video will be getting discussed. So yeah, without any further ado guys, don't forget to once again slap all that like button back above 1000 likes. It will be highly appreciated. And let me jump straight away into our today's update video. Earlier this morning, while I was asleep, the market had another big drop towards the downside, and it was of course not only Bitcoin that saw so, but it was of course also the S&P 500, which went of course down and almost created another lower low. This happened while the trade war with the United States of America is heating up even more. We start to see that of course most of the cryptocurrencies are down massively again here. Most of the US stocks are also down again here, and of course it happened all after Trump signed an even bigger tariff order on China, putting it up towards 104% here, due to the fact that of course China put some tariffs on the US, and now the US is doubling it again. So this is of course definitely a very big trade war, and all the tariffs from the United States of America are right now, since of this morning, officially in play. And while this all has been happening, we start to see that on the opening of the Japanese stock market, it crashed over 4% already once again here. And we're starting to see that the US 10-year bond yields are rising up to 4.5% here. And historically speaking, whenever this rises so significantly, especially at this rate, it basically indicates recession is likely to come anytime soon here. So recession fears are spiking once again here, and most investors are fleeing from the stock market into 10-year bonds here. And of course that is also one of the reasons why so much money is of course escaping the market right now here, and people are looking for a safe haven. Then of course, due to the trade war escalating against China and the United States of America, this Chinese yuan actually set a new all-time low here, a low not seen in history before here. And honestly, that is just a very interesting thing here to see here. The currency is weakening, and of course the dollar is strengthening against it. And also, if we're looking at the Hong Kong exchange here, we're also seeing that the Hong Kong exchange, of course, has seen a significant dump towards the downside, but still is holding up quite okay here. But basically, yeah, it is also down over 25% here. So trade wars worldwide are escalating. I mean, we got a statement yesterday evening from the White House that President Trump is willing to pick up the phone and talk about tariff negotiations. But of course, he is definitely not in a hurry to do so. And in the meantime, markets are just absolutely crashing. And while this all has been happening, yesterday of course the trade war against China was escalated due to the new executive order, but China responded by selling another $50 billion in US treasuries, and that is of course making China less dependent from the United States of America, and it's ultimately also a bad thing for the United States of America. So interesting things what are happening over there here. Honestly, if I'm looking at the funding rates, it is still extremely negative across the entire crypto market, which is signaling us right now that the market is definitely oversold and people are definitely in a very bearish sentiment. We're seeing that the fear is extreme right now in the market. And if I'm looking at the US stock market, we're seeing that there's also extreme fear over here. And ultimately, that is a very great thing here, because whenever there is huge fear in the market, it does correspond with, of course, major opportunities as well here. So Bitcoin at the same time, it is still creating that major CME gap, and like 95% of the times we tend to fill up the CME gap. Definitely with right now what is happening in the macro conditions, it is not likely to be happening. Bitcoin is however bouncing ever so slightly on the imminent short term here, potentially creating that double bottom structure right now on the lower side. On the daily time frame, we're still trading in a downtrend, confirming lower lows, confirming lower highs, and ultimately, yeah, we're just trading in a downward sloping trend line. And whenever we're going to be breaking outside of this trend, guys, is whenever we're going to be seeing that next big the direction change. Of course, for Bitcoin, the big level of support is definitely going to be laying around 71 to 73,000 US dollars. We have been once again retesting this level again, and ultimately I do think this is going to be a level that is going to be providing us big support for Bitcoin. Then of course, like I mentioned in many videos before as well here, we're still trading against the EMA ribbon. I believe we're still trading in a downtrend, but of course, as soon as we can manage to be breaking above this downward sloping trend line, above the EMA ribbon, above the previous range high in the market, I think it's going to be giving us the confirmation that we're then going to be looking for a bigger reversal towards the upside. But as long as we're not breaking above the downward sloping trend line, I just think and I just believe we're just going to be continuing towards the downside. But there are some signals right now in the market that shows us that there is, of course, going to be some interest in this region right now here. And one of the things I'm currently looking at is definitely also going to be this region right here, because you can see in every single consolidation phase in Bitcoin, whenever we come back towards the previous range high in the market. And honestly, that is just a thing I am super excited for right now here. I really think we could find some very big support around that region over there. Then talking about my trades, guys. Currently, I still have got a trade open on Bitcoin and Ethereum. These are both longer term trading strategies. And basically what these trading strategies do here, they accumulate along the way down here, distribute along the way up here. And for Bitcoin, as long as it keeps going down, guys, I will be just averagely accumulate more and more towards my positions. The full profit is actually a little bit higher. It's because I already released a lot of my profit, and that is why the total P&L is right now down a little bit here. But all in all, I was before in over a $2,000 or $3,000 in grid profit. I took profit. So all in all, I'm still in a profit in this position. So yeah, I am looking forward towards my trading positions. Of course, if the profit is already locked in, you can, like you can see over here, release the profit. And whenever I release the profit, it goes from the total P&L here. So it looks like I'm making a bigger loss here, but actually it's because I just released my profit here. So I'm still consistently taking more and more profit on my strategy on Bitcoin and Ethereum, but ultimately it's a very great way of accumulating in this market right now here. I do think that ultimately these trades are going to be making me a lot of money. So if you're interested in trading on Pionex, don't forget to check it out in the link description of today's video. And right now you can get an entry on my trading bots here on a very good level since the market is sitting so low here. So if you're interested in copying any of my Bitcoin or Ethereum trading strategies, don't forget to check it out in the link description of today's video. Further on, global liquidity on the market is in the rise right now here. And historically, Bitcoin has always followed global liquidity, and this is just a signal and a chart I want you to take very seriously right now here. I mean, the total 2 also at a very big level of support right now in the market, and ultimately I do think that Ethereum sitting at this logarithmic support line, sitting at this oversold condition on the monthly time frame, is really a very interesting zone right now here. And if you're going to compare the Ethereum compared to Bitcoin valuation, it is right now sitting literally at the bear market low of 2020. So interesting level in my opinion, definitely worth to be notified, definitely worth to be, of course, looking at right now here. Ultimately, I've been accumulating a lot of Ethereum all the way from of this region on the top side, and I know it wasn't the bottom from $2,000 all the way towards this region. I've been accumulating in this region because I do think Ethereum is ultimately going to be doing very well here. And yeah, let's just see where this is going to go towards. But ultimately, I think it's a very great zone of accumulation for ETH right now here. So excited for Ethereum. It's very heavily oversold here. And of course, whenever a market can fall very quickly, you can also know it also can reverse very quickly back towards the upside as well here. So this was it from me in today's update video. I do know there's not a lot of stuff happening right now here outside of the Trump tariff stuff here. And it looks to be that everything is just bad here. But of course, like we do know here, White House representative, they have been saying that Trump is, of course, looking to be making a deal as well here. And of course, whenever he does make the deal, it is ultimately going to be proving very critical for the entire market. And I do really believe that, of course, Trump, what he wants here is to, of course, cut the interest rates here. And now the interest rates are going to be falling quite heavily. And at what cost? I'm not quite sure here. But ultimately, what we just need to see here is the interest rate cut here. And whenever the interest rates go down, ultimately on the longer term, guys, it is going to be great here. And for every single bull market, every single big bull market in Bitcoin and crypto, one thing is required, and that is a recession. Why? It's because in recessions, we get insane stimulus and spending from the Federal Reserve here, which creates more money and which ultimately sends the market back higher. So ultimately, every big crash in the market is going to be a huge opportunity to, of course, accumulate. At least that is what I will be doing. I think that Bitcoin in the longer term is definitely going to be succeeding. And in a few years, we're going to be looking back at this opportunity. Bitcoin sitting in this major crash to $70,000 as a big buying opportunity at the end of the day here. So this is it for me in today's video, guys. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to stop with the like button, subscribe to the channel, and see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.